Welcome to Superhero Pow. I'm your host nerd, Tom Frumgen. And for lack of a better title, this is Story Time, where I will regale you with a tale of action and adventure from one of my failed spec scripts. To start things off, we have the Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes versus the Squadron Supreme. This was for the cartoon, The Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, from 2011. Where I have them take on the Marvel-used Justice League of America surrogates, the Squadron Supreme. Now, cue the curtain. The sun shone warmly down on Rockefeller Center in New York City. Visitors and New Yorkers all traverse the center with the usual bustle of midday, until they stop in their tracks at a strange sight. The crowd starts to make way as light and space started to bend into a soft blue glow. A portal through time and space opening up before them, and out step 5 colorfully garbed figures. With feet firmly on the ground, the portal closes behind them. Crystal King, a blue-skinned bald man dressed in a sleek black and white costume, with a crystallized right forearm, remarks, "He did it. Master Menace actually brought us to another Earth." Master Menace, the man in the lead, with his long black hair and mustached head exposed from his blue and orange technological armor, coldly replies, "Don't be so surprised, Crystal King." The Mad Clown, dressed as a macabre circus clown, with candy red hair, says, partially to himself, "Looks the same to me." Ape Lord, an oversized gorilla of golden color, with human menace in his eyes, growls in an animal-like voice, "That's because you are a fool." "Hey," the Mad Clown retorts. "The Mad Clown resembles that." "Ape Breath?" "Ape Lord," corrects the Ape Lord. The Deadly Panther, a curvaceous female dressed from head to toe in black fur, asks with a purr, "Yes, we're all rather impressed, Master Menace. Now what do we do? No doubt the squad will be able to follow us here." "Never fear, Deadly Panther. My plans don't end here," assures Master Menace. "But before we go, I say we set the stage for the squadron's arrival." "Tear the place apart." Glee runs across the Mad Clown's face. "Ooh, the Mad Clown likes." The clown then pulls out an old-fashioned seltzer water bottle. As he squeezes the lever on it, flames shoot out of the nozzle, lighting fire to a street vendor's cart and the street vendor. Panic grips the onlookers as they race to get out of harm's way. The Crystal King raises his crystal forearm to a fist. A light blue glow starting from his arm soon covers his whole body as he lifts into the air. After achieving several stories in height, he points his arm at a nearby building and blows a massive hole in the side of it with a laser-like blast from his crystal arm. While trying to keep a safe distance, 2 officers with guns drawn confront Master Menace, Ape Lord, and the Deadly Panther. "Freeze right there!" they command. "Ape Lord, if you please," quietly responds Master Menace. Without replying, the Ape Lord vaults himself into the air, and with a violent somersault crushes the police officers under him. Grabbing one of them by the leg, he flings him like a rag doll across Rockefeller Center. Master Menace and the Deadly Panther begin to slowly walk across the center, as the screams and carnage grow around them. "I hope you don't expect me to run around like a savage," says the Deadly Panther, as she comes to a stop behind him as he looks up at the famous Prometheus statue. "Of course not, my dear. You are ill-suited for it." And with that, Master Menace blows the statue to bits with a blast from his armored fist. Several blocks up 5th Avenue, across from Central Park, is the small, rather nondescript mansion headquarters of the Avengers, still enjoying the peaceful midday sun. Inside the kitchen, seated at the dinette island with a cup of coffee in his hand and a newspaper laid out on the table, is Captain America. Dressed in his famous red, white, and blue costume, his mask lays on the tabletop just to the side of him. Behind him, entering the room, walks the well-dressed businessman, Tony Stark. "Hey, everybody," Tony announces himself. "Just stopped in to see how my favorite people are doing." "Tony?" Cap replies, not looking up from his reading. Tony opens the refrigerator and sees that it is all but empty. What the heck happens to all the food around here? He questions out loud. Cap motions with his thumb to the living room. That would be the Hulk. Tony closes the refrigerator door and mutters to himself. I spend more money on food around here. As Tony makes his way to the living room, he questions Captain America. And Cap, what are you doing with that newspaper? Where's the tablet I gave you? Still in the box, Cap replies, turning a page of his paper. Tony shakes his head in amused disbelief as he steps into the living room. The Hulk sits on the couch, taking up most of it. He's surrounded by various food in various stages of being eaten. A gallon of milk, a watermelon, roasted chicken, half-gallon of ice cream, bag of apples, among other things. Tony walks in and takes an apple. Hey, save some for the rest of us, big guy. The Hulk's eyes remain fixed on the TV in front of him, which is on some typical court TV show. The remote's busted, is his only response. What are you talking about? Questions Tony. It probably just needs new batteries. Tony takes a bite of his apple and speaks through the chewing. Where is it? The Hulk's eyes, still glued to the TV, points to the coffee table in front of him. Tony sees amidst the pile of food on the coffee table is the remote. Smashed to pieces. Picking it up to survey the damage, Tony remarks, Hulk, my friend, you need smaller fingers. The Hulk doesn't reply. Putting down the remote, Tony looks at him, and then over at Captain America, still silently reading his newspaper. Hello? Is this like Ignore Tony Day or something? Neither of them respond to him. Tony takes another bite of his apple, musing, Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just the guy who pays for all this stuff. Just then, the TV screen goes red with the Avengers logo, and a computerized voice declares, Alert, superpowered criminals seen attacking Rockefeller Center. Alert, superpowered criminals seen attacking Rockefeller Center, as the built-in Avengers alert system goes off. Not amused, the Hulk asks, Where'd Judge go? The judge will have to wait, Green Jeans, as will our talk about team courtesy. Tony runs back to the kitchen where Captain America is now standing, putting on his mask. I'll get Thor and Ms. Marvel, he tells Tony. Right, says Tony, rushing out of the kitchen. See you in the air in 3. Back at Rockefeller Center, a haze of smoke fills the air as the superpowered villains from another Earth are gone. In their wake, they have left the center in shambles. Cars are turned over and smashed. The uninjured tend to injured people sitting and lying on the sidewalks. Building fronts are ripped apart, revealing the tattered offices and shops inside. But again, light and space begin to warp into another portal. Onlookers grow nervous again as 5 more colorful beings step through the portal. Little does the traumatized crowd realize that these 5 are members of the heroic Squadron Supreme, who are just as shocked by the carnage around as they are. Hyperion, the powerfully built man with red hair, dressed in orange and yellow, exclaims, Great Adams, what happened here? Nighthawk, dressed in black and blue leather, with a long cape and cowl, replies matter-of-factly, Master Menace and his gang, no doubt. The Wizard, a lean, muscular man dressed in blue goggles and a bright yellow costume, questions, But why would they just trash the place? There's your answer, Nighthawk says, pointing to a large group of heavily armed SWAT officers taking up position around the heroes. Look out, there's more of them, yells one of the officers. With arms up, Hyperion cautiously approaches the officers, who brace for an attack. You have nothing to fear. Hyperion is drilled into the ground as the Hulk falls out of the sky on top of him. Dr. Spectrum, who is dressed head to toe in prismatic colors, with a small glowing ball-like crystal strapped to his left hand, cries out, Hyperion! The Hulk's momentum carries himself and Hyperion deep into the parking garage below the center, demolishing cars as they go. Iron Man, Thor, and Ms. Marvel come streaking out of the sky towards the remaining colorful beings. All right, Avengers, let's show these creeps we don't appreciate them ripping up our city, yells Iron Man. Have at thee! Thor's hammer releases from his hand with incredible force, aimed straight at Power Princess, who quickly raises her left forearm, to which the hammer bounces harmlessly away from her. Shocked, Thor states, "Odin's beard! None may resist the power of Mjolnir." Thor regroups as the hammer flies back into his hand. Raising it above his head, he flies down upon the Power Princess. But again, the savage blow from the hammer bounces uselessly off the Amazon's forearm. "Nothing can penetrate my enchanted invisible shield," she declares. The two mythic warriors then start trading terrific blows, but neither one is able to gain an advantage. The stalemate is finally broken when Power Princess manages a spinning leg sweep, knocking the Thunder God off his feet. As he hangs in the air for a split second falling, the Amazon continues her spin. Bringing her other leg up, she kicks Thor in the gut, knocking him through a wall of a nearby building. Up in the sky, Ms. Marvel fires blasts from her hands at the Wizard. But of course, the Wizard is too fast to hit, as he dodges around abandoned cars and other debris in the street. "He's so fast, I can't get a beat on him," she complains. "Whoa, take it easy, Blondie. We didn't come here to cause trouble with the locals," the Wizard says as he turns into a yellow and blue streak, racing up the side of a building. Before Ms. Marvel can react to it, he pushes himself off the building and slams right into her. Elsewhere in the sky, Iron Man maintains a powerful repulsor ray beam on Dr. Spectrum as they slowly circle each other. Unfortunately, the Golden Avengers' attacks are useless against the white glowing force field around the good doctor, so Iron Man attempts to open a dialogue. "So, Glowbug, you want to tell me what all this roughhousing is about?" Dr. Spectrum motions with his crystal-strapped fist, and a green man-sized hand shoots forth from the crystal, grabbing Iron Man by his calf. "You want to see some roughhousing?" he asks, to which Tony replies, more to himself, "Oh, that ain't good." Dr. Spectrum's giant green fist swings Iron Man around, bashing him into several buildings. Back on the streets, Nighthawk helplessly watches the battle. "I've got to put an end to this." Then, instinctively, Nighthawk dodges Captain America's shield as it goes flying past him. Looking to where the shield came from, he sees Captain America flying in to body slam him. With amazing grace and athletic ability, the bird of prey vaults over Captain America and lands on his feet. Coming to a stop and turning around, Cap remarks, "You're about as quick as the Black Panther." "If you say so," Nighthawk replies, as he cartwheels over to Captain America, unleashing a barrage of kicks and blows, all of which fail to land against Captain America's keen martial defense. As the costume crusaders battle it out, the Hulk comes blasting up out of the ground. His reeling body is sent high into the sky. Then, looking a bit dinged up, Hyperion floats out of the hole made by the Hulk. He surveys the fight scene and notices Ms. Marvel has managed to blow the roof out from under the Wizard. The roof of the short office building he was running across crumbles beneath him, sending the quickest man around falling to the floors below. "Gotcha!" Ms. Marvel exclaims. Then, in an instant, Hyperion flies up behind her. Grabbing her by the back of her costume, he forcibly throws her down, pancaking her on the street below. "I think that'll be enough, miss." Then Hyperion spies Power Princess battling it out with Thor and flies over to help. Elsewhere, Dr. Spectrum's force blast blows Iron Man into the side of a building. The Golden Avenger drops the few floors to the street with all the rubble. Dr. Spectrum then floats over to the pile of rubble and boasts, "Had enough, Tin Man?" Iron Man weakly raises his hand, which he quickly turns into a fist as a sonic wave continues to blast from it. Instinctively, with his hands, Dr. Spectrum covers his ears in pain. "Ah!" Then, with his other armored fist, Iron Man flies up and belts him. "Thought you might have a little trouble working that crystal thing of yours, if I messed up your ability to think." Iron Man rains more blows down upon Dr. Spectrum until he falls down to the streets below in a heap. Over by the destroyed Promethean statue, Captain America, without his shield, misses Nighthawk with a high spinning kick. Nighthawk manages to step in close with Captain America and with a few quick blows manages to stagger the red, white, and blue Avenger. Then, in the momentary pause, he asks, "Don't you think we should be talking about this?" Regaining his senses, Cap counters with a mid-level spin kick. The blow hits Nighthawk in the gut, sending him to the ground. "You can talk all you want. In jail." Cap then leaps on top of Nighthawk. Across the street, Thor, with his hammer knocked off, is down on one knee in between Hyperion and the Power Princess. Now look, Hyperion says. This has gone on long enough. The next instant, Hyperion is gone, slammed by the incredible power of the returning Hulk. Power Princess attempts to come to Hyperion's aid, crying out, "Hyperion!" But a mighty blow from Thor's hammer, "Ha!" prevents her from coming to the Man of the Atom's aid. In the middle of the Rockefeller Center, Hulk and Hyperion square off a good distance from each other. They start to slowly move towards each other. "You just don't know when to quit, do you?" Hyperion dares. "Hulk is strongest one there is," answers the Hulk, as the two move faster towards each other. Soon they are racing at each other, as Hyperion says, "Funny, that's what people say about me." Both the Hulk and Hyperion swing terrific blows at each other. A massive shockwave rocks the city as their fists collide into each other. The rest of the heroes are knocked back, off their feet or out of the sky. 8.5 miles to the west sits the new Meadowlands Stadium. With no game in progress, the parking lots are empty. Yet the football stadium is anything but quiet. For a giant drilling machine created by the Crystal King bores into the center of the playing field. Over on the sidelines, Master Menace is checking the drill's progress on a holographic screen he's projecting from his armor. A despondent Mad Clown walks over to him. "So, Menace," he says, "I'm bored." "I thought you were setting up security around the stadium." The Mad Clown sits on the ground. "Yeah, I did all that. Any Supreme geeks show up, and the big board there lights up and gives us a picture," he says as he motions to the Jumbotron. "So, now I'm bored." Master Menace all but ignores the clown. "Say, where's that Deadly Panther chick?" says the Mad Clown as he gazes about the stadium. "She's collecting hostages," Menace replies, still not paying much attention to him. The Mad Clown jumps to his feet. "Hostages? Well, I can collect hostages." Master Menace finally turns away from his work to face the Mad Clown. "I said hostages, not victims." The Mad Clown leans in close and replies, "What are you trying to say?" Back across the river at the Rockefeller Center, a hush has finally settled over the battlefield. Standing a few feet from each other, Hyperion and the Hulk, the only ones still standing, rub their sore fists. Through a broken door, the Wizard walks out of the department store, rubbing his head. "Anyone get the number of that bus?" The Power Princess flies over to Hyperion. "Great goddess, what happened?" Recovering from Thor's last blow, she failed to notice the Hulk and Hyperion's explosion. Elsewhere, Nighthawk is struggling to crawl out from under a fallen tree. Captain America then offers him his hand. "I'm starting to think you all weren't responsible for the initial attack." Nighthawk takes Cap's hand, who then pulls him out from under the tree and up to his feet. "We weren't." Iron Man then crawls out of a hole in the side of a building. Noticing the lack of activity, he says, "Have we stopped fighting?" Leery, Dr. Spectrum floats over to him. "Should we?" "Maybe," Tony questions. Ms. Marvel floats down next to Thor, who is putting his helmet back on. "I believe the Hulk has finally met his match," comments Thor. "Is that a bad thing?" Marvel wonders. "We didn't come here looking for a fight," says Hyperion, staring down the Hulk. "Well, you got a funny way of showing it," says Iron Man, as the group of heroes come together. "We were set up," says Nighthawk. "By who?" asks Captain America. "Master Menace," answers Hyperion. "You see, we come from a parallel universe, another Earth. Supervillains from our world crossed over into yours, and we chased after them. So they caused all this, knowing you'd get blamed for it, coming up behind them," Ms. Marvel summarizes. "Master Menace isn't an evil genius for nothing," says the Wizard. "What do they want?" asks Iron Man. "We don't know," says Power Princess. Nighthawk notices that the citizens of New York are starting to come out from their hiding to see what's going on. "Maybe we should go somewhere more private to talk," he suggests. "That sounds like a good idea," agrees Iron Man. Iron Man turns to the Hulk, still staring down Hyperion. What do you say, Hulk? Hyperion offers his hand to the Jade Giant. Friends? The Hulk slowly takes Hyperion's hand and tries to crush it in a handshake. Hyperion winces and then starts squeezing the Hulk's hand back. Both men strain to get the upper hand until Iron Man cuts in. Ah, come on, big guy. We'll be here all day. Back in the Meadowlands, the Deadly Panther attaches cable devices to a small group of stadium employees, unlucky enough to be working that day. The hostages sit quietly in the end zone of the football field. The devices are strapped to their arms with fat cables attached to them, all leading towards a large kitchen island-sized computer station. Master Menace works at the computer station. With the last device in place, the Panther stands up and says to the hostages, "I would recommend not moving if you want to see tomorrow." In the middle of the field, the Crystal King dissolves his giant drilling rig, as the hole is complete. The hole is about 50 centimeters in diameter. The Mad Clown walks over to the hole, picking up a small piece of broken concrete, maybe from the drilling. He drops it down the hole. Then he turns his head to listen. The Ape Lord steps over to him.
"That hole is over 3,000 miles deep. You are not going to be able to hear anything."
Undeterred, the Mad Clown still continues to listen. The Ape Lord rolls his eyes and walks away. The Deadly Panther walks over to Master Menace at the computer station. "I rounded up all the stadium employees. They're all set to play hostage." Not looking up from his work, he replies, "Excellent." Ape Lord walks over to the two of them.
"The drilling is complete, Master Menace. Is your device?"
Not answering, Master Menace keeps checking the numbers on the computer screen. Then he reaches under his cape and pulls out a small cell phone-like looking device. "I never thought I'd get to use this," he says more to himself than his teammates. Then he turns to them as both the Mad Clown and the Crystal King have joined them. "Imagine, this will make all our dreams come true." "And what if they don't come?" asks the Crystal King. "Oh, he'll come," says Master Menace, staring intently at the device. "He always comes." Outside the Avenger mansion, early evening has set in. Inside, the Avengers and the Squadron Supreme hang out in the operations room. Some are sitting at the meeting table like Hyperion. Iron Man walks over to the table and sits down. "Okay, now that I've assured the mayor that the fireworks are over, what's this all about again?" Hyperion speaks. "First, let me introduce ourselves. My name is Hyperion, and we are the Squadron Supreme." "And you're superheroes from a parallel Earth?" Iron Man questions. "Yes, our Earth appears to be very much like yours," says Hyperion. "But to continue with our introductions, besides me is Power Princess, the champion from an ancient civilization, Utopia. Next is Dr. Spectrum, our cosmic hero, wielder of the Power Prism. And over there is the Wizard, a hero who possesses super speed, even greater than my own. And our dark, brooding member is Nighthawk, who spends most of his time fighting urban crime. And I assume, much like you, we banded together to make our world a better place. Unfortunately, our arch-nemesis did the same thing, the so-called Army of Armageddon, led by the twisted genius Master Menace, who has armed himself in an invincible battlesuit." "You don't say," Iron Man muses. Hyperion continues, "With him is the Deadly Panther, a woman who sold her soul to demons for superhuman cat powers. Then there's the Crystal King, a man who is trying to replicate Dr. Spectrum's power prism, but wound up transforming his whole arm into one. Then there's the Ape Lord, the leader of a small race of intelligent apes, hyper-evolved by aliens. And lastly, the Mad Clown, a psychopath who enjoys other people's misery." "Charming bunch," Iron Man says out loud. Hyperion continues, "Most of the Army of Armageddon was behind bars. When we heard that Master Menace was breaking them out, well, we tracked them down. And much to our surprise, Master Menace had discovered your parallel world, and they all traveled over here. To what purpose, we don't know, but it can't be good, so we followed them, and here we are." Well, I always figured parallel universes were possible. Nice to see I was right, Iron Man says. Well, as the sign says outside, we're the Avengers. This world's Squadron Supreme, I guess. I am the billionaire genius Iron Man. This is Captain America, the living legend from the 1940s. Thor, the Thunder God, is our very own Asgardian. Our cosmic hero and blonde bombshell, Ms. Marvel, and the Hulk. There's pretty much not more to him than that. The Hulk snorts in disapproval. Nice to meet you all, says Hyperion. Sorry for the ruckus and confusion earlier. Well, who doesn't enjoy a good ruckus every now and then, Iron Man jokes. Dr. Spectrum walks up to the table. We should probably get around to finding Master Menace and the rest of his goons. I agree, says Captain America. Any ideas on how we can find them? From the back of the room, Nighthawk speaks. We should start by searching for any anomalies. Power surges, earthquakes. If Master Menace and his gang have traveled to a parallel world, whatever he's up to, it must be big. Iron Man gets up from the meeting table and walks over to a control panel by a large monitor on the wall. Well, says the Golden Avenger, I'm getting some readings of seismic activity not too far from here. Is it common in that area? No, it is not, replies Iron Man. Power Princess stands up, ready to go. Let's go check it out. Aye, Princess. Thor, too, stands in agreement. These villains have much to answer for. The football stadium is sparsely lit as night falls on the Meadowlands. The villains have moved the computer console over to the hole in the center of the field, with a large cable coming out of the console down into the hole. The machine is also still hooked up to the hostages in the end zone. The Crystal King and the Deadly Panther keep watch on the hostages as Master Menace works on the computer. The Mad Clown and Ape Lord look on.
How much longer?
Questions the Ape Lord, growing impatient. Relax, Ape Lord, says Master Menace. Don't forget what we're here for. A piercing alarm sounds through the stadium as the Jumbotron lights up. The giant screen shows the Avengers Quinjet approaching the stadium, flanked by Hyperion, Ms. Marvel, Dr. Spectrum, Thor, and Power Princess.
Showtime!
Cries the Mad Clown with glee. Master Menace looks down from the Jumbotron to the console and slides a switch down into place. The machine hums with life. Then he turns to the Crystal King. Let's invite them in, shall we? The Crystal King raises his arm and a beam blasts forth, straight into the sky like a beacon in the night sky. The stadium lights all turn on, filling the stadium with light. The heroes in the sky are taken by surprise by the light show. Great Adams, exclaims Hyperion. Inside the Quinjet, Wizard, Nighthawk, and Hulk sit in the back, while Captain America and Iron Man sit at the controls. Something tells me they know we're coming, Iron Man remarks. Let's not keep them waiting, Nighthawk says. I'll put the Quinjet on hover, says Captain America. As the Quinjet slowly circles the stadium, the back door opens and the 5 heroes leap out. Holding hands, Iron Man helps Captain America and Nighthawk down to where they feel comfortable letting go, each one dropping to the ground in their own acrobatic fashion. The Wizard maintains small tornadoes in his fast-moving arms to lower himself down to the ground softly, while the Hulk merely falls like a stone at great speed. Keeping in formation, the flying heroes descend with each other. The ground quakes as the Hulk lands. Growling, he runs off at full steam at Master Menace and his gang. Master Menace calmly steps up to him. If you wish our hostages dead, then please attack. Iron Man notices the hostages in the end zone and yells out to the Hulk. Hulk, stop! The Hulk stops just inches from Master Menace.
What a marvelous shade of green you are,
happily remarks the Mad Clown. The Hulk merely snorts in reply, just itching to start throwing haymakers at the villains. The heroes and the villains slowly line up, facing each other. I see you've brought friends, Man of the Atom, calmly notes Master Menace. What's the game, Menace? Hyperion curtly replies. Why, it's the same as always, Master Menace says, slightly bemused. I'm going to kill you. Seriously? That's it? Says Iron Man incredulously. Master Menace looks over at Iron Man. That's it. I'm not sure if you know this, but Hyperion is rather difficult to kill. I mean, a force of that magnitude could destroy the Earth. Nighthawk interjects.
What have you done, Menace?
Master Menace walks over to the computer console, quietly working at its task. It's a simple matter of thermal pulse acceleration. The core of the planet will simply get hotter and hotter. And then I suppose the world explodes, mocks Iron Man. Master Menace explains. Nothing so dramatic, I assure you. But the outer crust will be blown to smithereens. You can see why I could never do this on my Earth. But once I discovered your parallel world... Thor, gripping his hammer, steps up.
Thou art mad!
Yes, Master Menace replies coldly. Yes, I am. The end should be a few moments away now, so we'll be leaving you. As the villains back away from the heroes and their computer console, Hyperion steps up to flank Thor in confronting them. You're not going anywhere, Menace. Did I forget to mention the hostages? Try and stop us and they die. Try to destroy the machine and they die. Ape Lord pulls out a time-space portal creator, which looks merely like a remote car door opener. Pressing a few buttons on it, and a portal through time and space opens up behind the villains. You are free to follow us, of course, Master Menace taunts. But then I know how much you love playing the hero, Hyperion.
And now our world won't have any heroes. Woohoo!
Laughs the Mad Clown. The heroes stand paralyzed with inaction as the villains walk one by one through the portal. This isn't over, Tin Man, declares Iron Man. He's right, Master Menace. This isn't over by a long shot, Hyperion threatens. Goodbye, Hyperion. I won't miss you at all. With that, Master Menace is the last villain to turn his back on the heroes and walk through the portal, which quickly closes after him. Before the heroes have time to react, the ground starts to shake. That's not good, exclaims Miss Marvel. The wind quickly kicks up, and the sky around the stadium comes alive with a lightning storm. The heroes look at each other in dismay. Raising his voice over the wind, Iron Man turns to the squad. Well, I sure hope you guys know how to handle this. Hyperion, at a loss, looks away in frustration. The wizard yells as the wind is getting louder, You're all welcome to live on our Earth. End of part 1. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. But before I get to part 2, I suppose I should have some sort of challenge. Nothing too hard, maybe like 100 likes. Once this video gets 100 likes, then I'll post part 2. Until then, thanks for spending time with me. And be sure to be alert, because the world needs more alerts.